First of all, give us a sense of the outlook for the valuations of startup in China.
Yeah. Actually, in the early stage, the valuation, I think, is still very reasonable. But for the late stage, I think because the great entrepreneur is very limited, so the valuation is very high. Till now, it's very difficult to find a very good valuation and with very good entrepreneur.
So when Bain says winter is coming because the rout has slashed the prices of startups in China, when do you see that winter actually arriving?
I don't think so, actually, because, for example, those portfolio companies we have invested in the last 3 years, the growth of their revenue is very healthy. Last year, the last one of our portfolio company is about 50%, more than 50% growth per year, and the average growth is about 2 times. So I think if you find a good entrepreneur and a good industry, the growth is very strong, and the valuation, if you find them earlier, then the valuation is very reasonable.
Is there risk of fatigue? Because we saw $59 billion getting into the PE space in China. What's the outlook?
Actually, I think if you just focus on the last stage, the valuation is very difficult to find. It's a reasonable level. But if you can find them a little earlier, then the valuation is very good.
70% of all PE money that went into the Asia Pac went into the Chinese tech startups. Do you see that continuing? Do you see that trend continuing from here?
Yes, still continuing.
Why?
Because I think the growth is still very strong. People find that the room of the growth is very big, so people still want to catch the great opportunity.
But there are already views out there saying that the tech space in China is a bubble waiting to happen, a bubble waiting to burst.
I don't think so. Actually, as an example, you can see BAT in the last several years became even bigger. So that's why people want to invest in the late stage with a higher valuation. They think they can become even bigger in the near future.
What's the outlook going forward? Because China is looking to impose tougher rules on hedge funds, on PE firms. Will that impact how you view your investments and how much you put into the Chinese market?
Actually, I think in RMB fund market now, the fundraising is not very good. But the basic reason behind that is because this market lack of very institutional investor in RMB fund market. But for US dollar fund, I think because there are so many very experienced US dollar investors, so I think that market is still very healthy now. So if you can have the ability to fundraise and matches your ability to invest, then you will have enough money to invest the good opportunity.
So what's the plan for Goo Capital? Are you planning to raise more money, and what are you looking at right now?
Actually, we didn't want to raise new money, but because we are a family office, so the family's money is very healthy, very stable. So actually, our problem is find enough good opportunity to invest in China.
So are you saying you're not seeing enough opportunities right now?
Actually,
that is
yeah.
Flush with cash, waiting to put money into something, but you can't find anything?
I can find something, but we still need very carefully because we want to find them earlier. So in the early stage, you cannot find enough entrepreneur that they use enough money you want to invest. But for late stage, as you mentioned, the valuation is very high. So we want to put too much money in that stage now. Where
are the opportunities, apart from tech, which you still find quite attractive, in terms of healthcare, consumer? Where are the opportunities for you?
I think some opportunities we still find in consumer aspect. Some new consumption products that young people like it. Some young brand. I think there are still very new opportunities there. And for education, although the central government wants to control some education, online education, etc., but the demand is very strong. So if you see the revenue of these companies, these startups, the growth is very strong.
Do you see any risk at all from the U.S.-China trade war? Earlier, when Carrie Lam spoke, she talked about the collateral damage felt by Hong Kong. How about in the markets in your perspective?
Actually, because we are a global investor, we also invest in U.S. and European. So as a global investor, I think trade war affects us a little. Maybe we'll slow our pace because we want to be carefully, but you will never give up U.S. and China market because this is a two important market if you are a global investor.